The Good Ride, forever unsponsored.
Mason on the Stingray.
So here we are looking at the Gentemstick Stingray, and it's been a while. We were lucky enough to have this.
Easy tiger.
This lovely thing, this restored thing is the Stingray. It might have even been the board I rode years ago. I don't think it was.
I think it was Yoder's because there's a lot of his stickers on
Okay,
it.
yeah. No,
yeah.
I mean, it seems like the same. Like it was so beaten up when we got it. Grant cleaned this thing up. He just totally restored the base. Like
It was fast.
this is gonna be like a bad episode. Base restoration by Grant.
Edges are they're doing
Yeah,
good.
they were okay. No, it had bite on the snow today, and we rode this today and compared it. I did. You had to go after.
I rode the other boards
after
yesterday.
your buddy hurt
yeah.
his head. But we wear fucking helmets. But we rode the manta ray, the Stingray, and the Yoder behind me, and we really wanted to get an idea of, these are three somewhat similar boards, especially the manta ray and the Stingray. They all have their own unique personalities, but of this little setup here, I mean, of these three, I would say definitely this was my second favorite, and a very close second to the manta ray. The 56 manta ray felt very much like the 54 manta ray I rode, just bigger and better and more suited for my boot size and for my weight and my specs that you can see in the specs below. And check the on the table review because you'll be able to see this on the table, see its camber profile. Let's just do a quick flex here. It's stiff. It's much stiffer than the Yoder, and it's about the same as the manta ray. 56, maybe just a little more. You know what's going to happen as we drink more? This is just going to slide right in here.
Maybe.
I'm going to get a rail. I'm going to get a rail to the face. But it just felt like, it definitely felt stiffer, more aggressive, more straight lining. These are all super surfy boards, and that's all we've been riding this week. So some might feel less surfy than others. You know what I mean? Like
This would fall into that category, I think. This one is definitely less surfy, more straight lining.
Yeah, even with all that taper, this feels way more border on that free ride side where you've got a little more of a double ender feel on groomers, but yet in powder, when that tail sinks and stuff, it starts to get pretty surfy. But if you compare this to a lot of other free ride boards, you'd say, oh, this is pretty surfy.
Right.
But then you throw it in like against all these like super surfy boards like the manta ray and the Yoder, and you're like, oh man, this feels like kind of straight liney.
It does. In a bank slalom situation, I would choose this.
In a bank slalom situation, I'd enter the event, I'd get so amped, and then I'd fucking go way too hard and I'd hurt myself, and I wouldn't be able to do reviews for the rest of the year.
Back to the Stingray, in comparison to these other boards that we tried in the same Gentem category, straight lining, this is the winner, and
yeah,
probably not in powder.
Well, I like this board in powder.
Right? But compared to the
just
Yoder
the little leftover powder we had today, it wasn't fair because yesterday I was riding it was yesterday we were riding the Yoder and the manta ray in powder, and the Yoder was just a hands down winner. And the manta ray I think would be second.
Yes.
And this is a close third, though. And this just did everything really well. Like, for me, I love that off the tail. Like, this has taper and a deep side cut, the Manta Ray, but it just has that bite, and it was so much fun. Like, Mason and I both liked that more than the Stingray, but it was just like that much more. You know what I mean? Like, the Stingray and the Manta Ray, to me, are the most recommendable boards. They're just kind of like, they're really daily drivers for people who don't really ride switch much, and you know what I mean, who just like to have surfy carves. And really, like, those other boards in the line, you know, they're so beautiful and they're so fun looking, but they're so specific and they're so unique, and they really require a very, very unique style ride.
Right.
Don't you think?
Oh, totally.
Like, you really have to change a lot of aspects of your riding style to match, like for me, to match those boards. And I get it, and I see other people who just love it. You know, if you have a super narrow stance, you really come from a surfing background, and you really like to slow down and make really cool carves.
And you need to dedicate a lot of time to be able to do that.
To get the learning curve.
Yeah.
It's really an art, seeing these guys ride those boards. You know, like when the Gentemstick crew comes through.
We saw him today. This guy, on his backside, this guy's going parallel, both hands all the way down.
Yeah.
Elbows
on unlike I don't know what it was, but it was probably like a rocket fish or
it was I don't know, really,
some swallowtail-y.
very long swallowtail.
Yeah,
maybe
it was far away. Yeah.
Whatever.
It was, but I mean, those boards are like really cool, and so many people get, like, it's funny, like the guy with the swallowtail gets all the comments in the lift line, like, hey, what kind of board is that? How is that? It looks so cool.
Right.
But like after riding those swallowtail boards, I'm like, I don't care if nobody comments about my board.
Right.
This plain red and this kind of normal looking board.
Yeah, I love this thing.
I'd rather be on this.
Best color.
Like, and because I'm more of an American style rider, you know.
Right.
And I don't have that, even though I come from a surfing background. I've surfed probably just as, you know, I've been surfing since I was a kid, and I love surfing, but I feel like I'm doing more on the snow with this than I am with the ones that like truly mimic surfing. This is still super surfy and slashy for me. I can pretend I'm hitting a lip. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and if you see a little kicker or something, and it's a powder day, and you know, like yesterday we had some really good opportunities for Mason to show us some amazing terrain.
Thanks, Mason.
Thanks, Mason.
Shout out to Mason at Gravity Sports.
Yeah, knows where all the cool stuff is. And then we were on these boards, which have a little bit of tail, and they're a little bit more stable if you do want to go off something good. So for me, I mean, I had a blast yesterday, and I don't think I would have had that much fun on a swallowtail or the other.
No, I would have. I get bucked around. Like, even that Barracuda you had was my favorite of all those swallowtail boards that I've tried from Gentem, but it bucked me around a couple of times. It would I'd just be trying to keep an aggressive line.
Yeah.
And if I was on the Manta Ray or the Stingray, nothing would happen. But on the Barracuda, it bucked me, you know.
Yeah.
And I really had to dial back my riding to kind of understand it and change it. So that's what I love about the Stingray. That's what I love about the Manta Ray. You know, it's like the odd couple. You know, it's like, you know, Stingray for this guy who likes more to straight line, throw out an aggressive carve and get some air. And for me, I like just turning. You know, on a board like this, I like, and it's still, both are back leg heavy. The Manta Ray is way more back leg heavy. You really have to be back on it. The Stingray, you can drive a little more off your front foot.
I think that's probably why I like it.
Yeah, it's got a little more, it really, it's kind of like a gateway to Gentem. You know what I mean? Yeah, it takes a lot of people who are familiar with American boards.
It's true.
And it's like, it's the gateway board. It just slowly turns you on.
With that said, after riding a lot of Gentemsticks, these two are amazing boards.
They're my favorites.
And the only downside is really, in my opinion, is for most consumers would be the price. That's the
price and the stance width options you have. This on a traditional binding is 22, all the way wide is 22. which is very difficult for a lot of American riders to do. And with the Yoder, you know, they set it up where there's 6x2 instead of 5x2, and they did like, you know, up and back. You know, you can kind of go up and back. You can do whatever you want with that board. With this, we were at 22 here. You really have to, like, if you're a guy who has like an 18-inch stance width,
Perfect.
golden.
I'm exactly 22, and the position that the 22 put me here and here on this board, I really liked. So it, you know, fluke situation worked out perfect.
Yeah, and check the on the table review. There's a lot of setback on board.
Maybe if you wanted
Yeah.
to stretch it to 22 and a half with some mini disc, that could be an option, but
Yeah,
you're still pushing.
You want to ride these a little more narrow. Like I like 22 and a half normally, but I
Yeah.
was happy with 22, even like 21 and a half on this.
Just
That's
another
fine.
insert would be great.
I wish they did a 6x2, and I wish they did it here and here.
Right.
And I wish you had, you know, for American stances. For Japanese, it's fine, you know. And I wish they had a bigger model, just a slightly, you know. If they were, you know, I love how they went from 154 to 156 for this Stingray. I mean, for the Manta Ray. And I love how, I'd love it if they did the same thing for the Stingray. So there you have it.
Yeah.
Is that it?
That's
I want
it.
some more
No,
scotch.
that's good. Yeah, I think, yeah, it might be a beast, a bigger Manta Ray, a giant Stingray.
Yeah, well, I don't even want a giant Stingray because the giant Manta Ray I didn't like compared to the Manta Ray.
It got weird, yeah.
Too soft and too weird.
A lot of clown shoe action on the nose.
Yeah, total fucking.
Yeah.
You know, but this I feel like if they did a Stingray 157. You know,
Could
or
be a bomber.
158. That would be super
That could be a good
cool.
one, yeah.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
Cool.
That's the Stingray, great base. Very easily repairable and great glide. Super fun carver. Probably my favorite for straight lining and getting aggressive
Stable.
and stable
Love that.
in Gentem's line. I'm not going easy. I don't get to do much. I don't get to go out. I have 2 kids. I have a wife. You do whatever the hell you want. This is like my night at the bar.
What are you talking about?
Just being free.
Got a lot
and-
of structure in my life, so let's.
It's structured fun. There's a difference.